शुरू 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 ये तो पहले शुरू कर दिया.
Good evening. You're going to be in my company for the next half an hour. You may not have met someone like me before, but well, here I am. I am not made of flesh and blood, but of brick and stone. My voice and my step may be youthful, but I've stood on this hill since the 19th century. My life has not just been mine. It's also the life and the story of Shimla. I am Bantony. I am this historical mansion. There was a time when I wasn't here. There was no town. There were no big buildings. There was just a hill with a thick forest. But that hill and the forest were full of life, with birds and animals. As the 18th century came to an end, Nepal was forging itself into a powerful nation to the east of Shimla. Within the first decade of the 19th century, the Gurkhas of Nepal had captured a portion of today's Himachal Pradesh. In these hills, some local rulers lost their kingdoms to these hardy warriors.
What should we do, my king? Even if a stone hurts their feet, they will go on till it is ground to powder.
The British have entered India. Their East India Company is very powerful and has a huge army. Let us ask them for help.
Help them? Whatever for? The directors of the East India Company do not pay us to help people. We are here to make money for the company's shareholders and not to help someone in those distant hills.
For a few years, the company sat silent and watched as great changes came over the lower hills of the Himalayas. Then a series of events across Europe and other parts of India made the British send 4 armies into the hills. The areas around Shimla witnessed pitched battles and several skirmishes. The hill rulers and the British were victorious. In 1815-16, the Gurkha Wars came to an end. Within a couple of years, officers from the East India Company's army began exploring these hills.
What a delightful place. Look north and you see the magnificent snow-covered mountains. All around are thick forests, grassy glades, and streams of clear water.
Why not Build a house here, sir. You can discharge your duties better from these hills compared to Sabatu, which is so awfully hot in summer.
Ha! Splendid idea! We shall build a house on that wooded rise. What say?
Yes, sir.
Some decades before I appeared in 1822, Captain Charles Pratt Kennedy constructed the first permanent house in what was to become the town of Shimla. One happy guest at Kennedy House in 1831 was the French botanist Victor Jacquemont.
Monsieur, this village is nothing but the resort of the rich, the ideal, and the invalid.
Monsieur Jacquemont, for a botanist, you do have a sense of humor.
And thanks to you, Captain Kennedy, I have not tasted water in weeks. Your cellar is so well stocked.
Within a few years, the hospitable Kennedy had more significant guests. The Governor-General, Lord Amherst, arrived in 1828. The following year, the Commander-in-Chief of the British Indian Army, Lord Combermere, arrived in what was still a little tiny village. Combermere's visit provided a glimpse of what the future held for Shimla. The first substantial building works were undertaken by him. Over a stream, he built a large water tank and a bridge that still bears his name. A few years later, in 1830, the core lands that were to form the town were acquired from the rulers of Patiala and Kionthal. It seems the ground was being prepared for my arrival. By 1831, there were 60 houses in this place, whose name is variously reported as Shimla, Shimla, or Shimla. The name could have come from a small temple covered with slate, Shimalaya, or from the local deity, Shamla Devi. But this is something that has been lost in the mists of time. It is something we will never know for certain. Just down the road from me is the venerated shrine of Kali Badi. The main image, which is made of dark marble, is flanked by two stone ones. They are believed to be the original ones that came from a shrine on the hill of Jackal. They do. Somewhat like Rome, Shimla has 7 or 8 hills. Towards the west is Prospect Hill, which is crowned by the temple of Kamna Devi. In the same direction are Summer Hill and Potter's Hill. Then, with the old Viceregal Lodge atop it, is Observatory Hill. Adjoining this is the Inverm Hill with the State Museum. There is Jackal, which I just mentioned, and then there is the Elysium Spur, which extends out of this. It has the Auckland House School and other buildings. Last but not least, there is this hill, and as may be expected, this is also referred to by some as Bantony. No, not all, but Shimla has many shrines of different religions, all located close to each other. Christ Church is the oldest church in Shimla, and is on the ridge. It appears almost like the town's signature over the skyline. Just above the hill from here, on the site of today's Grand Hotel, Bentinck Castle was built in 1829 to accommodate the British Governor-General, William Bentinck. Located a little below, Bantony, where we sit now, was also named in his honor. In the 1880s, Raja Shamsher Prakash, the ruler of the princely state of Sirmaur that lay just east of Shimla, where some of the fiercest fighting of the Gurkha Wars took place, purchased several properties in Shimla. One of these was a rundown cottage that belonged to a Captain Gordon. This was demolished. There, under the watchful eye of his son and successor, Raja Surendra Vikram Prakash, an imposing mansion was built. For this, the Raja took the services of Mr. T.E.G. Cooper. As the 20th century began, I too became a part of Shimla's elegant and varied character. Now look at me closely. I'm quite an eclectic creation. Across my facade, I display various nuances and could well be an architectural fashion model. I have elaborate foliations and curved brackets that resemble buildings in the Alps. My roofline has delicately wrought turrets, and the porch sits under a filigreed pagoda. I am one of Shimla's grandest houses. Someone even gave me and my builders a delicate compliment by calling the style Sarmauri Baroque. As the years moved on and I aged, there were numerous additions to my character. During the 2 World Wars, the ruler of Sirmaur allowed the colonial government to use me for housing the military. During the Second World War, here lay the prisoners of war section. This was attached to All India Radio for handling messages of mostly Italian prisoners who were interred near Dharamsala. Just after independence, the respected newspaper The Tribune, which had been based in Lahore, began functioning here, till it was shifted to Chandigarh. And oh yes, did you notice the railing outside, which depicts the coat of arms of Sirmaur? These railings were cast in the iron foundry of Nahan, which was the capital of Sirmaur. And this foundry was one of the first industries to come up in Himachal. Before these railings and the Grand Gate could be installed, I had to undertake to the Shimla municipality that the grand deodar trees on the property would remain intact. And a couple of these venerable things still stand. Of course, the monkeys, which are so much a part of Shimla, use the branches of these trees like swings and keep me amused with their antics. Just before India's independence, I was handed to the Maharaja of Darbhanga. In 1957-58, the Maharaja of Darbhanga, Sir Kamleshwar Singh, gave this property on rent to the Punjab government. In the initial days, many departments of the Punjab government and later the Himachal police stayed here for many years. But Shimla is so grand, it is called the Queen of the Hill Stations. Across the road from me is the telephone exchange and the telegraph office. This was one of the world's first automatic telephone exchanges. Not far is the YWCA. The site once held the weather office. The year 1857 dawned quietly across North India, but beneath the calm surface, a storm was raging. That storm would turn into the first war of independence. It would strike at the very roots of the East India Company's bloody and ruthless rule across India.
The servants have just heard in the bazaar, the men in the Jito cantonment near Shimla have also become mutinous.
Utter rubbish! They will always remain true to their salt. They will not rise against us.
The Shimla Bank, where many Europeans gathered, was located a stone's throw from here and now holds the Grand Hotel. While Shimla remained largely unaffected by this great uprising against the injustices and deception of the British in India, the rest of the country changed dramatically. The retribution was terrible, and whole villages were set alight. The all-powerful and rapacious East India Company ceased to exist. Its powers and functions were transferred to the British Crown. The head of the government in India was now redesignated as Viceroy and Governor-General of India.
Aye. Methinks that Sir Charles Wood, the Secretary of State for India, will agree to make Shimla the summer capital. I cannot stand the heat. I've had enough of it through my years in India.
Sir John, we will get more work done here in one day than we could in 10 at muggy Calcutta.
In the year 1864, under the viceroyalty of Sir John Lawrence, the town of Shimla officially became the summer capital of India. While this may have been called a summer capital, the government remained in the hills for most of the year. They went to distant Calcutta and later New Delhi only for the winter months. Here, in this overgrown village, the strings of power were gathered. A fifth of the human race was governed from the Viceroy's thundercloud office at Shimla.
Father, is there a war going on? Where are all those men with elephants and horses going with those big boxes?
Oh, that's just the government of India, carrying its files and papers between Calcutta and Shimla.
Oh!
You know what they say about the government of India when it doesn't want to take a decision? A noting on the file will say, discuss in Calcutta or discuss in Shimla. And years would pass like that.
Achha!
And by that time, it is time for that official to retire or go back to England.
If you want to become someone, go to Shimla. If you want to marry someone, go to Shimla. This is the grandest outpost of the British Empire and never ever pass up an invitation to Viceregal Lodge.
To Shimla flocked dashing young men out to seek their fortunes. Here came the grass widows, who were married ladies seeking to escape the heat of the plains, and their husbands. Members of the fishing fleet were young ladies that sailed from Britain in search of husbands and wound their way up the narrow mountain paths. Then there was the Club of Black Hearts, whose members could not commit the offense of living in open matrimony, but whiffs of scandal floated freely as Shimla's monsoon mists.
The month was a round of picnics, dances, theatricals, and so on. And I flirted with the bottle of energy of a year on my lips.
That is what Rudyard Kipling wrote in a letter to his aunt from Shimla, soon to be acclaimed as a writer of great standing and winner of the Nobel Prize. Kipling wrote about the town in its glory years. He created some of literature's immortal characters from Shimla's swirling society. It included the famous Mrs. Hawksby. She had, he wrote, the wisdom of the serpent, the logical coherence of the man, the fearlessness of the child, and the triple intuition of the woman. Rudyard Kipling was not the only famous literary name to be connected with this town. Along the years, there was the Nobel laureate and composer of India's national anthem, Rabindranath Tagore. Writers and novelists like M.M.K., Idris Shah, Nirmal Verma, Krishna Sopti, Mohan Rakesh, Bhisham Sani, and Ruskin Bond all have had a Shimla connection.
Members of the amateur dramatic club are actors by profession, though some of them take up government employment as a pastime. No professional company has any chance in Shimla, as the local amateurs will not hire out the theater. The fact is, they cannot, because they are always rehearsing and changing the cast and eternally squabbling for leading parts.
In the early 20th century, this is what the writer Dawes had to say of Shimla's famous amateur dramatic club. Designed by Henry Irwin, also the architect of the Viceregal Lodge, a huge Gothic-style town hall was completed in 1887. It housed the Gaiety Theatre and Club, along with other types of establishments. The theatre has hosted countless personalities and launched several careers. The Viceroy, Lord Lytton, wrote the play Walpole. Founder of the Boy Scout movement, Robert Baden-Powell, and writers Rudyard Kipling and M.M.K. have acted here. Amrita Shergill, the artist, who lived for many years in Shimla, also acted here as a young girl. The singer K.L. Sehgal is believed to have made his first public appearance at the Gaiety. Other names connected with this legendary theatre include the Kendalls, Prithviraj Kapoor, Anupam Kher, An extensive restoration was completed in 2009. Today, the Gaiety Theatre Complex is the hub of Shimla's cultural life. In the closing years of the 19th century, the world was changing rapidly. The impact of the first industrial revolution was reaching far corners of the globe. A big part of this change was the impact of the steam railways.
How many more surveys do we have to make? Oh God, how long will building this rail link from Calcutta to Shimla take?
Carry on. We're getting stuck in the tunnels and on some alignments.
Sahib, we are told of someone who can help in this. He is a man named Bhalku. And he also worked on the Great Hindustan-Tibet Road when that was being built in the 1850s.
Okay, let's have a word with him and see what happens.
Very well, Mr. Harrington.
Sir, the rich and powerful were not the only ones to shape Shimla. Thousands of laborers worked on building the Kalka-Shimla railway line.
Based on an oral tradition, Bhalku would have been quite old when the construction of the railway began. He is said to have marched with a tall staff ahead of H.S. Harrington, chief engineer and agent of the railway, indicating the line that the track should take. According to local law, this trace was revealed to him by the Devta, the deity of his village. Some believe that the track, with its 19 stations between Kalka and Shimla, was built on the trace shown by him. Today, the Kalka-Shimla railway line is a UNESCO-inscribed World Heritage Site.
It is all very well that the railway is being built, but we have matters of greater concern before us. After all, empire cannot be run like a tea party.
This is such a perfect summer day at Annandale. Surrounded as we are with these magnificent deodar trees in this delightful glade, and to be seated in the same pavilion as the Viceroy Lord Curzon. Don't you think so, Mr. Young Husband?
Absolutely. This is a really magnificent business I come for.
While admiring a gymkhana at the glade of Annandale, the Viceroy, Lord Curzon, and Francis' young husband planned an invasion of Tibet in 1904. Some years before this, another event had quietly taken place at Annandale. Alan Octavian Hume is believed to have been at a picnic there when he thought of creating an organization that he hoped would bring the British and Indians closer. The organization was the Congress, but it went in a different direction and became the spearhead of India's freedom struggle. And a little sidelight. The Durand football tournament, which is played to the present day, began at Annandale. The Durand Line, which separates India and Afghanistan, came into existence here at Shimla. Promises by Britain to give greater representation to Indians in the running of their own country were repeatedly broken. General Dyer, the man responsible for butchering thousands in Jallianwala Bagh, had lived in Shimla for some time. Now, in and around Shimla, the cry for freedom began resounding in the hills.
Hail to the uncrowned king! What rubbish! Does this ragtag lot expect to remove the world's most powerful empire?
As I watched watched from this hill, the empire of 1,000 years ended within 3 decades. In 1921, Gandhiji was invited to Shimla by the British Viceroy of India, Lord Reading. The meeting was to try to create an atmosphere of calm in India, preceding the visit of the Prince of Wales, scheduled for December that year. The colonial administration had been rattled by the immense wave of opposition created by Gandhiji across the country against the Rowlatt Act of 1919. Under this repressive act, any Indian without any reason could be detained indefinitely. A phrase defined it. No dalil, no vakil, no appeal. During this historic visit, numerous nationalist leaders came to Shimla up to 1947, when India achieved independence. Pandit Nehru, C. Rajagopalachari, Sardar Patel, Subhash Chandra Bose, Madan Mohan Malviya, Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Govind Ballabh Pant, and Maulana Azad regularly brought public opinion to these rarefied heights. For a while, the creator of Pakistan, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, also maintained a house at Shimla. With the outbreak of the Second World War in 1939, the government stopped coming to Shimla. But many meetings and conferences continued to be held in the town. The same year, in the hills around Shimla, the Himalaya Riyasti Prajamandal was activated as a nationalist body. Torchbearers of the freedom movement in and around Shimla included Bhagmal Sota, Pandit Padamdev, Mancharam, Dr. Kedarnath, Lala Harish Chandra, and the American Satyanand Stokes. Several women joined in, led by Lakshmi Devi, Kamla Devi, Satyavati, and Lajja Varma. After independence, Dr. Y.S. Parmar of Sirmaur became the first chief minister of the state of Himachal Pradesh. In 1945, the Viceroy Lord Wavell called for what was termed the Shimla Conference. It was hoped it would work out the modalities of India's independence while keeping the country united. In 1946, the cabinet mission reached India. Many proposals that led to freedom and also to the partition of the Indian subcontinent were crystallized in Shimla. In early 1947, Lord Mountbatten came here as the last British Viceroy of India. During his time, with sessions conducted at the United Services Club, the Boundary Commission, headed by Sir Cyril Radcliffe, partitioned the country and created the state of Pakistan. On August the 15th, 1947, India became free of its colonial shackles. And on November the 1st, 1966, Shimla left Punjab and became the capital of Himachal Pradesh. The following year, the Shimla Agreement of 1972 between India and Pakistan was signed at Barnes Court, which is today Raj Bhavan. This Unita Fortior, in unity there is strength. This was the motto of the former princely state of Sirmaur, whose coat of arms remains on the railings of this magnificent mansion. And what about Shimla? Or Simla? Whatever name you want to call the place, she still stands high on the hills and unfolds a tapestry of a rich and varied history that not many can imagine unless they come here themselves.
পড়াশো ফুলে করলা ফুলে টু ফুল বাঁধিয়া পড়াশো